Foreign Exchange is about to commence here in Melbourne, the first of four, and next to me is the head of Australia and New Zealand, Michael Judge. Good afternoon, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Michael, why did you guys decide to hold this masterclass and why the four across the country?
Look, I think first things first, it's a new event for OFX, which we're incredibly excited for, and our first event with obviously the ATLC. So from our perspective, post-COVID, there's obviously a lot happening across not just the global supply chain and logistics space, but equally our main motivation for this masterclass is around awareness and consideration, not just of OFX, but more broadly around FX risk management and how we can obviously improve the risk practices of a lot of businesses who are operating globally.
So with those businesses globally, what have some of the changes in attitudes been, especially over the last 2 years of COVID?
Yeah, I think the core behaviour I think that we've observed is that fundamentally there has been a heightened level of preparedness around some of the risks out there. When you go back 2 or 3 years when COVID first started, the reality there was a lot of risk which surfaced and there was a lot of risks which businesses were frankly exposed to because they hadn't been in that scenario or, in fact that cycle before.
Yeah.
And the beauty of frankly the last 2 years is they've actually put a lot of those lessons into play. And really that's what OFX is about, is around supporting a lot of those small businesses, improve the way that they're set up and improve how they manage the movement of money, I should say, globally.
Yeah. Now, Michael, you guys are an Australian company established in Australia, and you've recently spread across in Canada, was it?
Yeah, so we're absolutely an Australian company, but I think we're equally as proud as not just our Australian heritage, but to your point, our global footprint now. So we are spotted all around the world, 3 regions. We've definitely got a good representation, both UK, Europe, and to your point, Canada and North America, to add to our Australian business here locally.
And Michael, you've been in your role for the last 3 years. Just what change have you witnessed over that time?
Oh, I mean, that's a big question. Look, I think a lot has changed. I think the competitive landscape is shaping up very differently to what it was a couple of years ago. I think the complexities in which we operate is obviously only just intensifying.
Yeah.
And I think the other kind of key change has been more at a regulatory level. The standards that we have to uphold as a business are only heading, further and further north. So. Yeah. That's just a snapshot, and we're definitely going to speak more broadly around some of those changes as part of today's masterclass.
Yeah. So just for those who can't be here today, what are some of the key points you'll be covering?
Look, I think the core of today's masterclass is actually around FX risk management. And I think the core topics really are around having a basic currency plan, or a fundamental currency plan, if you like. So at a summary level, we'll talk a little bit around setting some objectives, and really, partnering with a specialist which can, marry up, not just those objectives, but obviously marry them to some products, which are going to be beneficial when businesses take these things back, into their daily roles and into their financial functions. So. And
do you believe that businesses are more open to that nowadays, to being led by the professionals?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're definitely a specialist business model. That is absolutely what OFX is about at its core. But I think in today's environment, the big benefit for a lot of small businesses is actually the accessibility to the right partners. And today is very much around partnership, not just between OFX and ATLC, but partnerships more broadly.
Yeah.
And the availability of that specialism and expertise, I think, is something which is very, very important to us as a business.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Michael. We definitely look forward to today's session and the next 3 taking place over the course of the next month. So much appreciated.
Thank you.